Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the internal security of India since 2611. First of all, let us understand what is the speciality of the 2611. The 2008 Mumbai Terror attacks is popularly known as 2611 attacks. And what is that? It was a group of terrorist attacks conducted across various parts of the Mumbai city. The terrorist attack targeted 6 major locations and also it lasted for 4 days. Also the Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were behind the coordinated attacks that happened on 26/11 and it resulted into 164 deaths and also 308 were wounded in this attack. And we can say that this was a unique terrorist attack because it combined two elements. And these two elements are of strategic challenges. One was terrorism and the second element was the maritime security. So this is briefly about the 26/11 Mumbai terrorist attack. Now, having this idea, let us understand what is the progress India has made in its internal security since this huge terrorist attack that affected the country. Now, let us understand what were the lessons that the country learned from the 26/11 terrorist attacks. After the 26/11 terrorist attacks, the government of Maharashtra appointed a high-level committee. And this high-level committee was appointed in order to inquire about the terrorist attack. And this committee is popularly known as Ram Pradhan Inquiry Commission. And the committee submitted its report to the government and in the report certain highlights were made. Let us understand what were the highlights. The first highlight of the report was that there was limited capability of our security establishments and this resulted into a failure to anticipate an attack. So the country was affected by 26/11 terrorist attack and it was a failure from the part of the security establishments that is in the country in order to anticipate such a big terrorist attack taking place in the country. So the committee recommended for a capacity building. The second highlight of the report of the committee was that the security agencies in the country were not adequately equipped. That means there is inadequacy of equipments for the security agencies of the country. So they should be provided with adequate training and also equipments in order to counter such type of attacks. And third highlight of the report was that there was lack of coordination among various government agencies. For example, coordination among the police, the NSG, marine commandos, etc. So a lack of coordination among various agencies also led to this huge impact of the terrorist attack. Now let us understand what is the situation of the country after 10 years of this attack. Now it is 2018. So the terrorist attack in Mumbai happened in 26/11/2008. Now it's been more than 10 years and now let us understand after this 10 years what is the condition of the economy? What are the security threats for the country? The first one is the security threat from Pakistan. The security threat from Pakistan still continues to persist in India. So this is one major security threat for the country. Now there are also various strategic challenges like rise in different set of challenges. For example, maritime challenges. Thirdly, the China factor is a very important threat to the Indian economy. That is the China's OBER project. OBER project is One Belt, One Road initiative of China. So this One Belt, One Road initiative of China or the Belt and Road initiative, this has opened up an additional area of concern for India. Now another one is the string of pearls. What is string of pearls? It is a geopolitical theory to the network of Chinese intentions in the Indian Ocean region or the IOR. In the Indian Ocean region, China is trying to establish its authority through the string of pearls and it is done through establishing a network of military and commercial facilities by China. So these military and commercial facilities are being developed in the Indian Ocean region and this is done by the Chinese economy. So this military and commercial facilities are provided to the countries falling on the Indian Ocean between Chinese mainland and the Port Sudan. So this string of pearls strategy of China has also caused India to develop and pursue an active maritime diplomacy and this is a challenge for maritime security of India. And in order to counter these challenges posed by Pakistan and China especially on India's internal security, India has countered it with Actist policy. India has also propounded the neighborhood first policy. Now if we look at the India's strategic policies, we will see that in the recent times the maritime domain is gaining relatively greater importance in India's strategic policies. Now let us understand what are the measures taken by India in order to ensure its internal security. We will see that a significant progress has been made by India in enhancing its maritime security as well as internal security. Let us understand what were the measures taken by India. First of all, a 3-tier coastal security arrangement was established. And this 3-tier coastal security arrangement includes the Indian Navy, Indian Coast Guard and the Marine Police. And under this 3-tier coastal security arrangement, the Indian Navy was responsible for the security beyond 200 nautical miles. Whereas Indian Coast Guard had to take care of the exclusive economic zone. And the Marine Police within 12 nautical miles, the security issues were handled by the Marine Police. Secondly, there was an upgradation of Intelligence Bureau's Multi-Agency Center or the MAC. So the MAC or the Multi-Agency Center of Intelligence Bureau was upgraded to 24/7 operations. Thirdly, the equipment and training facilities were enhanced or upgraded. We have seen that according to the report of Ram Pradhan Inquiry Commission, one major setback or drawback was the inadequate equipments or training that was available to the security agencies of the country. So, the government upgraded the equipment and training facilities, especially for lower level security agencies like the local police. Many state governments also deployed specialized anti-terrorism forces in many states. For example, in the state of Maharashtra, where the Mumbai Terror attacks happened, Force 1 was deployed. So, Force 1 is a specialized anti-terrorism force. So, likewise, many other states also adopted such measures like the deployment of specialized anti-terrorism forces, and they were given special training in order to counter terrorism. Also, different state governments had made increased budgetary allocations to the security forces in the state. So this made them more equipped and also more trained. So training and equipment availability was made through increased allocation through the state budgets in many of the states after the terror attack. And also, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act was amended, and this amendment was to provide for an arrest and interrogation of terrorism suspects. Now, under the new Amendment Act, the security forces or the police can arrest or even interrogate those who are suspected of terrorism activities. So, these were the important measures that were taken by the state government as well as the central government in the short term. Now, let us see what were the long-term measures adopted by the central government as well as different state governments. The first one here is the formulation or formation of NAT grid. What is NAT grid? It is National Intelligence Grid. So, the purpose of NAT grid is to link various intelligence agencies in the country. So, under the NAT grid, various intelligence agencies working in the country were integrated or they were connected. So the NAT grid integrated intelligence grid that connects databases of core security agencies of the government. So government has various security agencies and the databases of all these agencies were coordinated. We have seen in the Ram Pradhan Inquiry Commission report that there was a lack of coordination among various government agencies, and in order to overcome this shortcoming, under the NAT grid, the database of various security agencies in the country were coordinated or they were linked. Secondly, the government is also emphasizing on strengthening its ties with foreign countries, especially the neighboring countries. For example, the neighborhood first policy, the South Asia satellite, etc. These are all certain initiatives of the government that aims at strengthening the relationship with the neighboring countries of India. And thirdly, government is also focusing for greater cooperation with Southeast Asian countries. Example is ASEAN-India Summit, the joint military exercises, also the Shangri-La Dialogue, cultural exchanges that take place between countries in the Southeast Asia. Also, India has taken a pragmatic approach in dealing with the Middle Eastern countries like Israel. India has also opened better data sharing with Western countries, especially the United States of America, through various bilateral and multilateral agreements. India is also countering Pakistan through greater cooperation with Iran, Afghanistan and Central Asian countries. Examples are Indian investment in the Chabahar port, International North-South Transit Corridor project, line of credit for the redevelopment of Afghanistan, etc. Such initiatives by India aims at countering Pakistan through Iran, Afghanistan and Central Asian countries. Also, the National Investigation Agency or the NIA, it is a specialized agency to deal with terrorist offences. We also have National Counter-Terrorism Center, and also government is focusing on capacity enhancement of various security forces. And there are also other international developments with regard to enhancing the security of the country. For example, recent Maldives election, USA deducting the aid for Pakistan, the Quad discussions or talks, Asia-Africa growth corridor, etc. Such international developments also help India to counter terrorism attacks. And one most important factor here is that India is pushing the United Nations in order to adopt Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. So what is this Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism? It is a proposed treaty, and under this proposed treaty, it provides legal framework which makes it binding on all signatories to deny funds and safe havens to terrorist groups. So if a country becomes a signatory, it is legally binding on that country in order to adopt the legal framework in order to deny terrorist funds and also to provide safe havens for terrorist groups in that country. So this Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism was presented by India in 1996, and it seeks to criminalize all forms of international terrorism and it denies terrorists. And it also tries to put forth a proper definition for what is terrorism or what accounts for terrorism, and the provisions of that will be binding on all the member nations. But what is the problem? No consensus has been reached over the draft proposals made by India. What is the reason? Islamic world, Latin America and also USA, they are raising strong objections in the United Nations against this Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. This is very, very important. Now let us also understand what are the concerns for India in its internal security scenario. One major concern or drawback is that there are large number of vacancies in the security forces of the country. For example, in the paramilitary forces, there are almost 55,000 vacancies that are unfilled. Now, if we look at the UN recommendations on police-citizen ratio, UN recommended that the police-citizen ratio should be 250 for every 1 lakh. That means there should be 250 policemen for every 1 lakh citizens or population. But in case of India, it is only 129 for 1 lakh. And here, India is one of the worst performing countries with regard to police-citizen ratio. So, if the vacancies in the paramilitary forces or in the security forces are properly filled, this ratio will improve. And second concern is regarding the underutilization of allocated funds. We have seen that the central government as well as various state governments are allocating more budgetary funds for the security forces, for the training, equipment, etc. But according to the CAG audits, it is clear that there is underutilization of this allocated funds. That means these allocated funds are not properly used by the government. Now, third concern is with regard to delay in the acquisition and the establishment of military equipments and infrastructure. So this delay is also a concern for establishing internal security and maritime security for the country. And fourth concern is regarding Pakistan's deep state. In Pakistan, the military still maintains an upper hand over the elected government. In case of Pakistan, the most powerful is the military. So this is another area of concern for India. Another concern is the China factor. China is extending huge support to Pakistan. So this support by China to Pakistan makes complexities at the regional level as well as in India. Regional level in the sense that the countries near the Indian Ocean region are influenced by China. So it is creating concerns among the region as well as with regard to India. Another concern is the geopolitical factors. India has a narrow geopolitical interest. So this is also another concern. And also new extremist outfits like the ISIS are developing in the region. So that is also another concern for the internal security of the country. Another concern is the threat of Maoist and also other extremist group linking with Pakistani insurgents. Already the Maoist and other extremists are causing internal disturbances or internal security issues. And when these groups interlink or collaborate with Pakistan terrorist forces, the intensity of the threat increases. And various international developments like the sanctions on Iran, turmoil in the Sri Lankan politics, the double stand of USA with regard to relationship with Pakistan, etc. are also posing threats or concerns to India. So these are the major concerns that India faces in the internal security and maritime security of the country. Now, what has to be done by India in order to overcome these challenges? India has to highly use the global forums like the United Nations, FATF, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and also the SAARC. So, India can make use of this global forums in order to solve its security related threats or issues. Also, the challenges in the internal security and maritime security needs to be addressed properly. For example, filling of vacancies, utilization of funds, delay in acquisition and establishment of military equipments and infrastructure. Such challenges needs to be addressed properly by the government and different agencies that are associated with it. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and for any queries related to your UPSC preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, or you can email me at joyce.studyiq@gmail.com. Thank you.